she guided us all. She guided us all to become better leaders, better representations of our school, our community, and taught us how to multitask, how to sell, how to do it all. So somebody says they can't hear.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I see that. Melissa, I'm sorry you can't hear us. Let's see. Maybe the sound on your actual computer. Let's see.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. I figured it out.
All right. Well, welcome, Melissa. So Melissa is our other speaker today. Let me just change I'm trying to like manage this PowerPoint, making sure everyone can hear. I'm losing all, okay, here we are. So we were just asking you to kind of just give an intro, introduce yourself a little bit, and how you're kind of associated with our district and who brought you here today.
Oh, yes. So my name is Melissa. I live here in Chula Vista, Otay Ranch area, so to speak. So I own Gaia Plant Co. at Otay Ranch Mall. So we are a boutique plant and gift shop. And we've been open since April. So we are,
Melissa, I think you got muted. I don't know what happened. Turn your mic back on again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Where did I leave off?
You have a new business.
Okay, so we are we own Gaia, my husband and I own Gaia Plant Co. in Otay Ranch Mall. And we've been open since mid-April in the mall and associated with the school district. My daughters, one of them goes to Olympian High and the other one goes to Rancho Del Rey Middle. And Valerie actually went to our grand opening at the store, and that's how I met her and got introduced to this opportunity.
Awesome. So Lena, our student facilitator, did you have some questions that they prepped you with?
Yes. The first question is, why did you guys want to work in the industry, like the business industry?
So I wanted to work in the industry. So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So I've owned a photography business for 10 years. And of course, due to the pandemic, my business has dramatically slowed down. So I was really into collecting houseplants. And one day my husband jokingly said, "Hey, let's go open a business." And I was really scared to do it. And, but as an entrepreneur, you just have to take the risk and just follow your gut and see where it leads. So that's what got me into working and opening the shop and being in the industry.
What do you guys like best about your job?
That's about, oh, you could go ahead, Jana.
Oh, sorry. I think what I love best about the job is serving our community. So as a native San Diegan and as a student who went through Sweetwater school program, I ended up working for the district straight out of high school. So I worked for 5 years at the Visual Performing Arts program with Sweetwater Union. So there's a lot of networking that goes with like a lot of the teachers, a lot of the educators. So it's really great to just to stay in that connection, stay in that loop. It's such a great group of people, and a lot of the teachers that I met, from 7th to 12th grade, they're still a lot of my friends. I made more connections with teachers probably than I made with the students that were my own age. So for me, to be able to connect back with like seeing my old teachers, and to be able to say, hey, thank you for all the things you taught me. Thank you for all of the resources and guidance that was provided. That's probably like the best thing for me. And then I have 2 kids myself. So for me, I want to provide just a really good retail shop, a safe space for my kids and their kids. Hopefully my business will continue on for years to come. But just like a nice meeting space for people to come and enjoy themselves and have a good time.
As for me, what I like about my job, to say the same thing as Janice said, it's just the community. There is really no place down here in South Bay for a plant shop for people to come in and actually buy gifts. So a lot of the customers like to buy gifts. So really it's about the community and being able to be the resource for plants for many people here. We have a huge plant community down here in the South Bay. Our shop also has a opportunity for small businesses to sell their items. So just being part of that community with the small businesses like jewelry makers, candle makers, it's just that camaraderie with everyone that just has a small business. It's just great to just be part of that and being able to give opportunities to other small businesses, because I know it's hard, and just working together to create opportunities for people. The satisfying thing about the job is just, and owning the business is, again, just creating opportunities for people, getting to know plant people in the community, and providing opportunities for younger, like, some our employees, they graduated, an Olympia and Altai Ranch, and giving them opportunities to learn how to, work, be in a workforce, and enjoying what they do. So that's what I enjoy about, just what I do.
How has your Filipino culture influenced your guys' career?
I think as far as influence, I'm half Filipino, so I am a mixed race. So I grew up in a household where we didn't know a lot about the culture. We weren't taught a lot of traditions. We didn't eat a lot of the food. We didn't, grow up learning the language. My dad actually worked so much that I hardly saw my dad. My dad's the one that's the Filipino on the Filipino side. So I really truly missed out on a lot of the Filipino cultures that I'm learning today as an adult. And what I'm kind of getting out of like conferences like this, where I can meet and network with other people that either have the same race as me or the same kind of experiences. I, typically wasn't pushed to go to school. I wasn't pushed to have those big plans, big dreams. It was mostly like, the way to survive this world is that you have to put in the work. And it wasn't so much of working for yourself. I wasn't motivated to work for myself. It was like what you do for others will provide for you in the future. And I didn't like that narrative. So for me, if I wasn't growing in an opportunity, I found a way to push to the next one. If a door slams in my face, then you just got to go to the next one and just say, hey, I tried my best. So I'm going to count that as a loss, and there's a new opportunity waiting. So you always have to have that perspective. And so that's kind of like that hardworking culture is what I'm teaching to my children now. But I unfortunately didn't grow up with having that Filipino culture other than just put in the work. That's really what I've taken from me growing up. And now I'm in my 30s now. So for me, I'm barely figuring things out. It is a journey. It's not something that will just come out of thin air. It's a million different ideas and and ways to try to see how you can put yourself into like a new situation?
So Filipino culture, just like Gianna said, is just, I really give a lot of credit to my parents. You know, they migrated from the Philippines. My dad retired from the Navy, like 20 plus years. My mom worked so hard in insurance for many years. So I give a lot of credit to them. And they instilled, again, just like the hard work. They didn't push me to be something I was not, I would say, quote, destined to be. You know, forcing me to be in a certain industry. They're just more like, you know, put in the work, big, you know, dream big, and your labor will, you know, will make it worthwhile. So just seeing them growing up, just how hard they've worked for us, for my, you know, my brother and I, it really instilled like, just work really hard, follow your dreams, and the fruits of your labor will be worth it. And you know, it's, I never dreamed of becoming a business owner of any industry. It's just what I felt it was right for me. And same thing is just, I instill this on my kids too. Is just, you know, work hard, follow your dreams, and it'll come to you.
What are some of the biggest challenges you guys have had to face in this position?
I would say opening a business during the pandemic, just seeing my business, like many during the pandemic, just, you know, fall over. I was struggling. I couldn't get clients. A lot of my contracts canceled from photography. So, you know, seeing that happen and opening a new business was really scary, especially during that time. I was uncertain. I wasn't sure like what I was doing. And that was the part that was really scary for me. But I had to pivot and figure out, okay, this is what I need to do, and I have to make it work somehow, just so that I can support and provide for my family, and keep going, because I didn't want that setback to hold me back and not do anything. So I feel like that was like the biggest challenge so far in terms of opening the retail shop.
I think as far as for challenges, so I don't know if I've mentioned this, but my business is a candy shop. I'm located at Seaport Village, and it's called the Something Sweet Shop. Now, my business, we opened in 2019, but 2 months prior to me opening my business, my dad passed away. He worked for Sweetwater Union High School District. He was a food handler, food service worker. He prepared like the lunches and breakfast and stuff. And the day he decided to retire, he drove down to Fifth Avenue, returned in his retirement papers, and 5 minutes later drove off and died. He had a heart attack. And so for me, my biggest challenge was not having the guidance of my dad around, you know, to just say like, keep going, keep pushing, keep getting through this. Like, I won't be around, but like, you can do this without me. So I think just like having the, like, what your parents tell you, like, just have it stick with you, have it instill in you, because one day, like, they won't be around. Like, we'll outgrow our parents one day. That's just the circle of life. But you really just got to sink into the mentors, the teachers, the people that like stood by your side, your family. And I think that was the biggest challenge, is to not fall into like a pity party, you know, not fall into, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I'm strong enough. I don't think I'm smart enough, have enough money, enough resource. But there's always going to be opportunity if you just allow that door to just keep pushing open, because the second you let it slam in your face, there's no hope at that point. It's just, you have to believe in yourself to be able to make it out of tough situations. And with COVID, we saw a lot of businesses pivot. We saw a lot of people give up, people that decided to just sit back and then just kind of wait for things to pick up again. Those are the businesses that unfortunately aren't here anymore. We're now like slowly coming out of the pandemic. But it really just comes down to like what you can pull out from inside you. Like, you know, it's not that kind of a job where you can go to work and then just turn everything off at the end of the day. It's the kind of business that you're sinking all your finances in, all of your family. There's no holidays anymore at that point. There's no sick time. There's no days off. There's no vacation. You just really have to believe that at the end of the day, it's worth it because you want to provide for your family. You want to do something for yourself. So I think it's just really taking any kind of negative opportunity or negative experience and turning it into an opportunity, turning it into a different perspective to kind of push yourself to through those obstacles. And, you know, there's always going to be light at the end of that tunnel.
What was the most important thing you got out of high school that has helped you now?
So it's been a while since since I graduated. I would say the support system that I had in high school, that would be my peers, my teachers, my counselors, just the encouragement that I got during my time in high school. I felt that helped me grow as an individual and becoming a young adult now to me now in like my 40s. So that really resonated with me. Like I still have my yearbooks and look back at the things that my peers and my teachers have written me, and it gives me encouragement. And I tell this to my kids, same thing, just, your peers, your circle, your tribe, if they have that positive energy, you'll do so much more in life. And to, continue to listen to their educators, to their counselors, because they're there to help. I mean, a lot of young kids think it's not going to matter years from now, but it does, because it just proves to me now that I'm older that support system was really beneficial.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like I said, Miss Bumatai, she was one of my first mentors at Sweetwater Union School District at Chula Vista Middle. She was the ASB advisor. So she really, joining the ASB for me was something that was such a tremendous amount of work and dedication and like learning that I took from that. And I use it now in my business. I use what she taught me to train other people to learn how to use what I learned from my teachers and apply it to today. I use everything that I use from my old teachers and apply it today, because the teachers with Sweetwater I just count them as like secondary parents to me. Every teachers have their own story, their own advice, their own guidance. They're there to help 100%. Like some of the subjects, super interesting. Like, with the Chula Vista, we got opportunity to try all types of art, all types of programs and activities to see, what your interests were, what you're passionate about. But the teachers are the ones that really pushed you. They're the ones that really supported and guided you to like be better versions of yourself. So I 100% thank all the teachers and administrative through Sweetwater, because even reflecting back 20 years later from the classmates that I had then, it always comes up in conversation, like who helped guide you, who helped support you. It's the teachers and the counselors that really made a difference. That if you're not getting the support at home and you're not getting the support where you should be getting the support, school's the best opportunity to fill in that blank. So if you're not feeling like you're not getting that support, if your peers aren't motivating you to be a better version of yourself, find new mentors, find new teachers, find somebody that will help guide you, mentor you. There's lots of people in our community that's willing to take on students as community service and help teach you values and morals and right from wrong and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of having a conversation. But definitely that's what the school provided, was just having influencers, as in our teachers, to help support who you are as a person and help guide you into just being a better version of yourself.
What do you know now that you wish you knew during your time at school?
Let me think. What I wish I knew, that plans do change. And that's okay, because when you're in high school, you're thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to go to college for. You go to college, you get your major, get your major done, your degree, and then you decide it's not for me. And and to me, that's perfectly okay, because sometimes you think what you really want to do, and maybe the opportunity when you look for that job is not there, it doesn't present itself, and another opportunity arises, and that's perfectly okay. When I was in high school, I was really set in being a journalist, traveling the world, joining the Navy, and seeing what's out there for me. But obviously that didn't happen. So to me, back then I was disappointed in myself, knowing that I couldn't do this. I couldn't be a journalist. I couldn't go to the college I wanted to do. But knowing where I'm at now today with my family and the opportunities that I made for us and for myself, I'm okay with that. And then that's perfectly okay. And I'm happy. And it's really, at the end of it all, that truly is what matters. It's you create the opportunity for yourself, work hard, and you're happy with what you do, and it's perfect. It's perfectly okay.
I think what I wish I knew in school that I, thinking back now, is that what they say is that there's no perfect journey for everybody. Everything comes at the moments that they're supposed to come. I was probably the first class that had Compact for Success that was a guaranteed admission to San Diego State. If you did all these requirements, you got a guaranteed admission. By the time I graduated high school, our family, we didn't have money to send me to college. I didn't take advantage of scholarships. I didn't take advantage of the steps needed to be done to guarantee my spot. Even though you get into college, like, you still have to somehow pay for it, and somehow come up with the funds, come up with like your living situation, stuff like that. So I would say, like, it's okay to not follow the plan that's set for you. So for me, I took a semester off. I worked 3 jobs in order to pay for community college. I paid myself through Southwestern Community College to get to a point where I could financially, set myself up with FAFSA loans and get myself to where I wanted to be, where ultimately it was San Diego State. So I think you just have to keep focused on like what your goals will be, and not compare yourself to other people's timelines, because everybody grows up in different situations, different financial situations, different support systems, stuff like that. But if you know internally what you want to do, or what you want your life to look at in the next 10, 20, 30 years, then you have to put in the work. And the work doesn't stop, whether it's homework, schoolwork, tests. Sometimes it sucks to learn subjects you don't want to learn about. I saw Miss Fausa's on here. I know her husband. He was my science teacher, and I hated science. Science was not my jam. I didn't like science. I didn't like math. I love the arts. I love the fun stuff. But you have to do the work. You have to put in all the work, because eventually, like, it's not so much the subject that made a difference, because I couldn't even remember half the stuff that I learned academically if somebody were to quiz me on it. But it was the dedication, the persistency, like the feeling of having a good report card, the feeling of accomplishment. That's what kind of drives you into becoming a better version of yourself. And so I would just say, like, do what's best for you. Don't compare yourself to others and other people's scholastic journey, or things like that. You'll fall into place wherever you can, but it's the work and what you what you make, the expectations that you give yourself down the line is what's going to replay out during life. Like anytime those hard times and challenges hit, you just think like, well, I got through that math class, I got through that science class, I passed that test. Like you just go on to the next level. You never be complacent into any kind of situation that doesn't feel like you're not growing. So the second you feel like you're not growing, you just got to push yourself to the next thing to make, that's how you feel good about yourself in the end of like knowing you did your best, you gave your all.
What advice do you have for students who want to pursue a career in business?
I would say find your passion and meet people that will help you grow. So that would be peers, business owners, someone in your community, somebody you've met through Facebook group. I've met a tremendous amount of great people in a plant Facebook group. And I still purchase plants from small businesses as well. And that's how I connect with other people. Owning a small business is not easy. Like Gianna said, you got no vacation, you work 24/7. The morning I wake up till like 12 o'clock at night, I'm still working. I'm thinking whether I'm doing something physical, my mind's still working. So it's not easy. So if you're willing to put in the work, that includes everything, finances, physical labor, meeting people, creating opportunities, doing community events. That's all work toward owning a business. It's not easy, but the fruit of the labor is very rewarding. You look back and you say, I did this all by myself. I put in my savings and I opened this all by myself. I created opportunities for high school students, high school graduates to get their first job, and then you're the mentor for them. You're molding them to be, to grow as responsible adults, how to work, because a lot of them, a lot of high school kids don't have a job. So, that to me is very rewarding. But again, it's not easy work, but you find happiness and you find the reward there when you create that opportunity for yourself, for your community, for other people. And then your future children will see like, hey, my mom did this. I'm so proud of her. My dad did this. My dad and my mom created this opportunity for the community, for our family. And they work so hard. They work so hard for us. And that's what I want to do. So you're gonna create those footsteps that they will follow, and because they see you. They see you work hard. It's just the same thing as I see my parents, my kids. I want them to see how hard I work, how hard my husband works. And that is the best advice I can give to students who want to create a small business. It doesn't have to be plants. It could be making jewelry, creating t-shirts, anything. You start small and then you work your way up. But definitely, that work that you put in, it will come back threefolds, tenfolds. It will. I promise you. Just have the determination, the hard work, the positivity in your life. It'll definitely come back, and you'll be surprised. You'll be very surprised.
Yeah, I agree everything Melissa says about creating opportunity for people, giving other people an opportunity to find their own passions and find a way to help support them in their small businesses and stuff like that. Our mural outside of our shop is done by an Olympian, graduate of, I think, like a couple of years ago. I think 2024. Okay. So we do have a lot of items that we do sell in our shop, just like Melissa's shop, created by people in our communities to give them a platform, give an opportunity to like sell their merchandise, sell their product, kind of guide them into like, hey, are you sure you want to full on take on a lease, put in all your finances, put in all this work, dedicate all your time, or would you like to try it out, kind of like dip your feet in the waters, see if this is, what you like to create, see if this is like what you like to make. Let's see if we can give you exactly amount of money that you feel that your work is deserved of. So same thing too, like just finding people where you can connect with. Like if you have a passion, you have something that you create, to find somebody that will say, hey, I'll help you sell it. I'll help you get to that point where you need to be. So I think it's just finding mentors, finding stepping stones, finding people that also believe in you. So my biggest advice would say, like at the end of everything, invest in people who invest in you. So I take the same thing, people that have invested in me my entire life, and not so much financial, just for people being supportive, people being there, people, coming out and like helping word, purchasing from me versus purchasing from Amazon or purchasing, from a big box chain. That type of help is stuff that I, in return give back. So I have people help me, so therefore I help other people. It's a chain reaction. And it only is positive from there. So I'd say just really, make sure that the people that you surround yourself with are people that will push you, motivate you, guide you. And if you feel like you're not growing in a situation, you can always get out. There's always going to be resources. I've watched the conference earlier this morning. A lot more resources from when I had gone to Sweetwater to now. Sorry, I'm also a full-time mom. So I'm a full-time mom. I'm a full-time worker. So, you've got to just believe in yourself and know that every day that you come to work, or, you're creating a positive impact on our community, because this is our life that our children will grow up into. This is our community that we want to protect, nourish. So just continue to grow. If you don't feel like you're growing in an opportunity, or if you don't feel like you're not being supported, heard, anything like that, there's lots of resources. The counselors through Sweetwater, amazing people, amazing teachers. A lot of my friends are teachers in Sweetwater District. And I salute you guys. You guys are incredible throughout this entire pandemic. I know that there's probably a lot of students that had a really tough home life. I had a very tough home life growing up too. So for me, like if there's any students that are listening and they don't feel heard, they don't feel wanted, they don't feel like they have anybody to help guide them, support them, mentor them, come down to my shop. I will teach you. I will teach you what I know. I'll teach you what my teachers taught me. So there's always a path for growth. And I think that's what the school provides. So I would say stay in school as long as possible, even if you have to pay for it, even if you have to work 3 jobs, school, it's worth it. Just to get that guidance, support, and networking. It's 100% worth it. Even if you don't use your degree. I don't use my degree. I have a criminal justice degree. I don't use it at all, but I do use the idea of procrastination doesn't work, the idea of planning, the ideas of like, you won't see your achievements unless you put in the work. So I think it's just a matter of like really self-discovery, of figuring out who you're surrounding yourself with, and where you want to be in the future, because there's always going to be room for growth, and there's always going to be room for opportunity. But I would just say, like, look at even at this conference itself, there's so many people that are involved that are willing to help. And even Valerie, who invited me to this conference, they had their homecoming dance. So it was refreshing to come back to the school and be able to give back, and create like better opportunities, better, events and stuff like that than what we had in school. So I think just continuing that, that chain of like, connect with this person, everybody's here to help. And when you find somebody that's not willing to help, not willing to support you, not willing to give you the resources or the support that you feel like you need, then it's time to move on. It's time to find a new set of people, new guidance.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering my questions. And if any students have any questions they would like to ask, could you guys please put it in the chat or come off mute? Okay, then. Thank you, Ms. Theodore and Ms. Chavez, for taking your time from your busy schedule to talk to high school students. Attendees, thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming to this session, and please refer to your program at tinyurl.com/Magkaisa 2021 for your next session.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very
much.
much.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.